Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 25th. You have this chalice card. It says rejuvenation and fulfillment. You have this wolf. It says beware of who you trust. I think you've learned a lot of lessons over the years, Leo, about like who you can and can't trust, right? With friends, family members, pretty much everything. So I would be really, trusting your intuition here. Especially if someone just doesn't seem right, I feel like some of you, it's like you already know who this person is. It's like maybe you're already dealing with maybe you have like a new friend or just a new person in your life. And again, something feels similar. I feel like something feels like a past person, and you should probably trust that feeling, right, Leo? And, again, I would just trust that feeling, plain and simple. And I think you'll be fine. You also have that rejuvenation and fulfillment card. It seems to be like a really good week for healing, like resting, relaxing, recovering, blah, blah, blah. So I think it would be a great time for you to do that. Like take extra time to rest, relax, recover, heal. And, I think if you do that, things will go very well for you. You have the World, the Queen of Cups, and the Five of Wands showing up here. Now, you show up here on the World, right here in the bottom corner. So whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. The World can be like an accomplishment or an achievement coming in for you here, Leo. It's almost popping into my head that you need to make something your focus, like as in, maybe it would be a good week for you to more focus on accomplishments and achievements if you haven't had any recently, or if there is something. And, this could be something very small is what I'm getting. Like maybe you want to clean your room or something like that. I know that sounds stupid, but sometimes those small little things lead to other big changes. So, again, don't, even if you are feeling pulled to do something that feels insignificant, it's probably more significant than you think. Or, sometimes, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, I've cleaned up areas of my house before, and it's like, I do feel more clear. I do feel more more like I am more clear when I do that. So, I don't know. I think you never know how beneficial those things could be. I think it would be a great time for you to travel. I do see a lot of travel for you in the future here, Leo. So again, if you're thinking about traveling or moving, I feel pretty good about that. You have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, your heart is telling you to do something, Leo. I think I said something to you once recently in the past couple of months where I said, I made the mistake of saying the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. I don't really remember The Wizard of Oz because I think I watched it when I was probably about 3 years old. That's the last time I watched it, right? And I'm now 650, so that was a very long time ago that I watched it. But what I would say here is that I think, I said I made the mistake of saying the Tin Man, even though I think it is the lion that's looking for his courage, right, or his heart. But there is something about that, like the Wizard of Oz thing kept popping into my head for you, about you looking for your heart, or what your heart belongs to. This could be very simple. It could be your heart belonging to some, looking for something to believe in, looking for something that guides you, or any of those things I think would be very good for you. But I would be really listening to your heart, because I think it's here's the challenge with the whole Wizard of Oz thing, right? Is sometimes I think our heart can tell us to do something that just doesn't make sense, or is kind of and we kind of see this here in this reading, that there is this there's like a mosquito or something flying around me here, and I'm trying to kill it, right? But anyway, right here, it's like there's something about this reading about you being guided in direction. We even have the Eight of Cups here, and so I think you need to trust your inner guidance system. You have the Five Wands. Five Wands is conflict and competition. I think you need to be willing to enter into competition. Not, again, this doesn't have to bring conflict into your life, but it's almost like saying that you need to be willing to challenge yourself right now, Leo, because I feel like you challenging yourself, that's where all the good things are going to come in, right? That's where the successes and the wins are going to come from. I always say it's like lifting weights. You have to lift heavier and heavier weight to grow bigger muscles, right? So you have to challenge yourself more and more and more in life, usually, to grow. And so I feel that here with the Five Wands, that there could be a lot of opportunity for growth in any area of your life, but it's going to require a little bit of challenge. With the world card, you have there you go. It's like you're on top of the world here, Leo, is what I feel like this reading is saying. It's like you. I literally pointed out that this is you. The King of Wands can also be you, Leo. Personally, I read the King of Wands as Aries energy, but whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Could just be a fire sign, plain and simple. So I think that all this, and we go down to the Two of Cups, which can also be you, with the Lion here. Now, the Lion on the Two of Cups actually represents the ego. We can talk about that in a minute. But it is interesting that we have all these kind of Leo cards here. With the Queen of Cups, here you go. You have the Three of Swords. I think you need to heal your heart so you can see something clearly here. Some of you could be attracting love, and the Queen of Cups or the Three of Swords can say for you to have this love, you have to heal. That's it. So I think that some of you, if you're like looking for love, that you maybe healing is the thing that you need to do, or forgiving the past is what you should do so that you can have this new love. I will say, just based off this reading, if you are attracting a new person, I do think this person could. This looks like significant to me, like it's going to be a person that like alters your life in some way, like a good way, like Two of Cups way, which it would be, you could be literally finding a person that you go on adventures with, or with the world or whatever. But you could also be finding a person that makes you feel on top of the world here, Leo, with that card. It could be another fixed sign, fixed energy, could be any sign. You have a lot of earth here. You have Taurus, and this is Capricorn and Virgo right here. So it could be a earth sign as well, or earthy person that's coming in for you if that's what you want. This also doesn't have to be love, by the way. The Two of Cups can be you and your higher self. So I think it would be a great, we are in a very spiritual time. I would be listening to your higher self. Yes, with the Five of Wands, you have the Hermit. It's time to enter into the competition. The Hermit knows more than anyone else, but he's staying stuck at the top of the mountain. Personally, I like the Hermit. I don't think he's a bad card necessarily, but I do think sometimes that the Hermit can be a little frozen. His feet are here at the top of the mountain, and it's an ice-capped mountain. So he might be kind of like frozen at the top of this mountain, basically, and he needs to like come down from the mountain. So I think it's time for you to like enter into competition almost, Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card. It says adjustments are required. Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is kind of an adjustment card. Seven of Cups says we have an idea, a fantasy, a dream, something that we're aiming at, that we want to work on. And Seven of Cups is all the different ways that we could accomplish the goal, whatever it is that we're doing. So sometimes if one thing doesn't work, we have to try something else. You have this waning moon. It says, what do you need to release? I do feel there's something that needs to be released here, Leo. I feel like you know what it is. It could be a past person, a past hurt, a past heartbreak, a past issue, a past, like, whatever that you need to let go of. I think you probably know what you need to release. For some of you, I feel like it's a person who, like, hurt you in work or business for whatever reason, but, like someone who burned you or something. So, again, healing that, practicing forgiveness with the Three of Swords would be good. You have the Nine of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the Five of Swords. I don't know, this reading, every once in a while, I'll get a reading where I feel like just intuitively, I feel like what I'm supposed to do as a reader is just gas you up. That's what I feel like I want to do in this reading here, Leo. It's like I feel like I just want to motivate you to do something, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy or anything like that. But I feel like you're a cheerleader, right? Imagine me with pigtails, a little whatever the dress is called there. That's me right now for you, Leo. I'm putting that all on, right? And I'm cheering you on here, pom poms and everything, right? Because there's like something that I feel like you need to be motivated for, or like fired up for, so that you can be on top of the world with the world card. But like I said, I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be easy, but I think it's going to be much easier than you think. Like whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish here, especially if you're building something new, I'm getting intuitively, especially if you're entering into some sort of competition. This could even be like a competition for a person. It's like maybe you think there's competition for a person to love, but maybe there really isn't, And so again, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I do think what you need to get motivated for is the Hermit, Again, Hermit isn't a bad card. He has everything he needs, but he has to come down from the mountain. He has to become the living example. Again, this is according to Chris's crappy tarot here. Just intuitively, I've always felt that the Hermit, his next step is to come down from the mountain. Like he's he's been through the dark night of the soul, but it's very, very tempting for the hermit to stay at the top of the mountain because he is isolated. No one else is there. He doesn't have to deal with the hurts or the pains or the challenges of the world. He can just stay in isolation and avoid all that, right? It's very tempting, but he has to like come down and live his life. And I think the Nine of Pentacles is saying like, the Nine of Pentacles is heaven on earth, but the Nine of Pentacles encourages us to create heaven on earth. Nine of Pentacles says you can create so many different things that you could be grateful for. And, it would blow your mind. But again, you have to make it your focus with the Nine of Pentacles to make that happen. You have the King of Wands. I kind of feel like this could be your energy here. The King of Wands, like just you. I think it could be you being bold, being assertive. Just kind of taking charge. And I think that would be a great energy for you to nurture. And I do believe that we can nurture these energies, right? Even if you don't think you're a person who is confident, or even if you don't think you're a person who can take charge, doing it in a small way, like once you start proving it to yourself, even in a tiny little bit, then eventually you become that type of person. So, again, even if you have to start small, I would. You have the Five of Swords. I don't know. I feel like saying don't let someone back here, Leo. I don't know. It's like if someone wants to come in and apologize, I feel like this is work for whatever reason. Like I feel like someone burned you in work, or, this is very specific. I don't know. Whatever. Sometimes I get messages, I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? And this is one of those messages. But again, if someone burns you in work, or, maybe it was a friend that burned you or something, like I feel it would be fine, of course, for you to be like, you know what, I forgive you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I think you need to move on. It's like I would be careful of allowing a person who did you dirty back into your life. And again, it doesn't feel like love to me. It feels like, someone who talked about you behind your back in work or something like that. It's like once they do it, it's like they'll always do it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm always very careful. It's like something I've realized over the years as well. And this is popping into my head for you. It's like I've known some people in my life where it's like they basically talk about other people to me, and I'm always like, what do they say about me? You know what I mean? And then like later on, I find out that they say a lot, right? That they basically share everything. They're loose lips sink ships, right? And so I feel like you need to be careful if you have a person in your life who, like, if they're talking to you about other people, they're probably talking about you as well. And it's definitely popping into my head. With the Nine of Pentacles, yes, you have to leave. This is the story of Leo, is that you have to leave a comfort zone. I also think you have to believe that things are possible. It's kind of funny because I feel intuitively that it's almost like you're embracing Taurus energy. I'm not saying that you are Taurus, Leo. I can hear the comments already, right? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that, the energy of Taurus is needing to escape the cage. The Taurus, like some people say Taurus is a bull in a china shop. It's actually not true. Taurus is a bull that's in a bullpen. And Taurus's karma in life is to break free from the bullpen. The bullpen could be childhood traumas, things that happened to them, whatever. I think it's interesting that you have a lot of Taurus energy here. Here, with the world, Taurus at the end here as well. It's almost like there is some sort of like, pen that you've penned yourself into that you need to set yourself free from. I don't even know what it is, but, there you go. With the King of Wands, you have the Ten of Wands. It could be too many responsibilities, So it's like sometimes if you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, that might be what you need to release, is the responsibilities that you take for other people. I do find, I have a billion and a half Leos in my life, and sorry, I think I just called you Taurus as well. But I have a billion Leos in my life, and I find that a lot of them do take responsibility for too many things, that they probably shouldn't. And so I would be careful of that with this card, because the reading itself is saying you need to be on top of the world, I think that's like something that you need to be doing, is doing things that make you feel that way. Yes, with the Five of Swords, you have the Nine of Swords. Don't repeat a mistake. Literally, that's what I said on the Five of Swords. That's literally what I feel, is that this is a never-ending nightmare. So if you repeat this mistake, it's going to be a problem. Especially if it's a person, right? They're just going to do it again. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Nourish energy, which I think is an amazing energy right now. We're going to talk about it. And you have this Passion card. It might be time for you to nourish things that you're passionate about. But basically, everybody for the past several weeks now has been getting this energy of like nurturing things into existence. And now, so we could be nurturing ideas, plans, goals, wishes, dreams, people, pretty much everything into our life, and I'm trying to kill this mosquito. The problem is I opened my front door for about 2 freaking seconds a little before I started these readings, and one mosquito gets in and then it finds me in my house, right? Whatever. But anyway, what I was saying here is that, again, I think that we are in this time where we have to nurture things into existence and, really like take care of them. And this could be things that you're passionate about, especially your passions. Remember, I said something about you finding your heart, Leo. Like I said also, and I've probably said this in the Wizard of Oz reading that I did for you. It's not like you don't have a heart. That's not what I'm saying. But it is almost like there are passions that you should be nurturing, right? And it could be anything. You have the Hermit, the Seven of Cups, and the Two of Cups. Again, Hermit, I think, is saying that you need to come down from the mountain. The Hermit, he's learned everything he needs to learn, and maybe he's trying to protect himself, but, he needs to come down from that mountain and shine his inner light. And that's it. That's what I feel for you, Leo. It's like time to show off. I think that's what will make you feel like you're on top of the world. You have the Seven of Cups. I literally just said this to someone else, that we're in a time of options. It's kind of hard for me to describe, but I keep getting this other message as well, that everybody needs to give themselves more options, but not like I'm not talking about like if you're dating, dating 1,000 people at once, right? What I'm talking about is like anything you're trying to accomplish, I would just look at all the ways to accomplish it, just so you can if one thing doesn't work, you just have a backup plan. That's the type of options I'm talking about. Although what I will say is that I think also variety is important right now. So it's like if we can learn more ways of doing things, but also if we can have more adventures about something, like let's say you wanted to learn how to cook the best pasta in the world. It's like, and you could go take a class, because I'm sure there are people that teach pasta classes all over the place, right? It's like you could take a class, and then you could probably watch a video on YouTube, and you could probably go look up a Bon Appetit recipe. Boom, you just gave yourself 3 different ways of doing something, 3 different experiences. There's something about this. Why is it important? I still don't know. I wish I did, Leo, but it's like a message the universe has been beating me over the head with, right? So anything you care about, anything you're passionate about, again, I don't even think you have to go crazy here, but it's like I would look at, multiple ways of doing things, because I think it'll just be helpful. You have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups could be a perfect match coming in for you. Yeah, if you're looking for love, this looks pretty good. I think you could be attracting something that makes you very happy. I do think there's competition for this. It could be like a person where there's competition. Maybe they're very attractive. Maybe they get a lot of attention. I don't know. But, looks pretty good. Let's see. With the Hermit, I'm telling you right now, I would definitely be careful of a past devil person. Now, this could also be a Capricorn, a Virgo, or a Taurus that's coming in for you. So it doesn't seem too bad. But again, there's something about you needing to be careful of like a past person, especially in work or business. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like this right now. I literally said this at the beginning of the year. I believe that this year is kind of like the Knight of Cups energy is the way that I would describe it. And I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about the Knight of Cups in the tarot. He's standing in front of the water, but he's standing in the desert. So he's standing somewhere like the desert where nothing can grow, or he thinks nothing can grow in the desert. But really, if he plants a seed in front of that water, it will grow. That's kind of like the time we're in, where it's like the universe is asking us to do things, I believe, in life. But we might, looking at those things that we want to do, what might happen is we might be seeing all the restrictions. Or we might be like, I don't have the resources necessary to do this, which is probably true. But how can you do it anyway, right? And I don't know, you're all different. You all want to do something different. But, I think that's, again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think that's the hardest part of being alive right now, is that we are being asked to do things where we literally might have to start extremely, extremely small. That might include, like, if you literally have no ability to do what you want to do. Like, let's say you have a goal to become an astronaut. It's like maybe you're not there. It's like, well, what can you do? Can you start learning about astronomy, about space? Can you start learning about it on YouTube? The answer is yes. By the way, you're watching me on YouTube right now, so that means you could go start learning about it. That might be the small step you can take, but I think whatever you want, that's what you have to do right now, is like take the small step. With the Two of Cups, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, I do like the Three of Pentacles for love, because if you're attracting love, it basically says you're attracting a person who really wants to work on a team. You're attracting a person who really wants to put the work in. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Bell Rock. It says possibilities on it. You have a prickly pear. It says diversity on it. You cannot make that up. I literally we talked about this with the Seven of Cups. You need to open up to all possibilities and a diversity of options. I think that would be the best thing for you here, Leo. That will definitely get you to where you need to go. You have the King of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, and the Eight of Cups. Again, we were talking about this Taurus energy being important. It's like there's some sort of cage maybe that you need to escape, Leo, or something like that. And, it could be a past trauma, past issue, but it's popping into my head. This is showing up in the good stuff, so this kind of probably does say that you are doing this, or maybe you are making it a focus. So, I do like to see that, of course. But, just something to think about. I feel pretty good about money here as well. If you're doing anything in finances to like grow your money, or if you're doing anything new, I feel pretty good about this King of Pentacles. You have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. So the Nine of Wands is about needing to not give up on something. Now, he's showing up in the area of the good stuff, which of course is good. The Nine of Wands can say that it's my card of experimentation, my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, but I feel like you are not giving up on something that you want, is what this is saying, and it's like saying your perseverance is going to be rewarded. You have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is the only card with an eclipse on it right here, and we have 2 eclipses next month in September. So, some of you definitely, almost every single person in this set of readings has either had this card, or the Moonology deck has a couple of eclipse cards in it. So, people have had those cards as well. But you could be eclipsing something out of your life, or letting something go. Which, again, this could be a person that has caused some problems. That could be one thing that you are letting go here, Leo, and that would be good. Let's see. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Wands. Yes, I think you need to not give up on something financial. Especially if you're like experimenting with new things in money, or if you're trying new things financially. I kind of feel this is saying don't give up. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Again, heaven on earth, right? Maybe you need to not give up on a dream or something that you've been dreaming about. Like I said, Nine of Pentacles is heaven on earth, but it's like she has to create heaven on earth. She has to do the things necessary to be able to have heaven on earth. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is quick success. If you are walking away from something here, Leo, that no longer serves you, I think that you are going to be very successful very quickly with whatever that is. So, that looks good. I also think the more focused you can be, the better. Both of these cards, Nine of Pentacles, she has this falcon on her wrist, which represents her training her focus. Eight of Wands, all those wands are pointing in one direction. Single focus, right? You have this fox. It says shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. For some reason, I thought you had the Seven of Swords, but this card always reminds me of the Seven of Swords. But yeah, again, shrewdness and resourcefulness in business. Maybe you need to cut someone out of your business, or maybe you need to tell someone they can't come back, or you don't want their help, or whatever, right? And that came up several times. You have this rose. It says romance is in the air. Yes, there's definitely love here. Again, it could be someone. This could be a really good person, Leo. I don't know. It just feels like there's competition, but like in a good way. It's like there's competition because everybody wants this person, or a bunch of people want this person, or whatever. Or maybe it's you, but definitely could be a strong connection. You have this March card and this bouquet. It says compliments from an admirer. So this person, one thing I will say is the astrology changes significantly by the time we get to March, basically. We'll have Neptune and Saturn will have both move back into Aries. Neptune in January, and then Saturn in February. And we there's a lot of other stuff going on between now and March of next year. And also, depending on when you're born, there's a lot of stuff going on as well. So you're gonna have to look at your chart. You might have some longer term transits that you've been dealing with that end in March. So, again, depending on when you were born. But again, definitely could be love coming in. You have this carriage that says a journey, either physical or mental. Yeah, we see a lot of travel stuff here, Leo. And I said that earlier, I think, in the reading, that I was picking up on something about travel or you traveling. If you are traveling or if you're thinking about traveling, there could be a lot of good opportunity there for you. So that looks good. You have this knot card that says unsuccessful plans. No, I think that if you are finding that something is unsuccessful, that you need to Seven of Cups. I think that there are a million ways that you could get something to work that it maybe isn't working. And I feel like the reading is asking you to find a solution. It's basically saying you don't have to surrender to only doing something one way, or you don't have to feel like you have to surrender, or you don't have to give up if you don't want to. I think there are many ways you can get something to work, but this looks pretty good here, Leo. I like where this is going. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.